Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I would like to introduce all of my tarot decks, oracle decks, and my angel cards to you. But before I begin, I would like to invite you to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so that you get notified on my next upload. I'm uploading a new video every week and I'm offering a free tarot reading for all of my subscribers. So if you would like to have your reading with me, you can just send a message to my email or direct message to my Instagram. All of the details will be in the description box below. Alright, so I'll start with all of my tarot decks. So these are all the decks that I own right now. I have more, but I've sold some of them and would probably sell some of these too because I'm moving abroad and I've also realized that I don't need this much decks. Anyway, as I own a lot of different decks, for me each of them has different personality and therefore I use them for different purposes. Now let's start with this deck. This is the Rider-Waite Smith tarot deck, and this is my very first deck that I own. I started learning to read tarot properly with this deck, so this deck has taught me a lot, but I've grown since then. Now you all know these two decks because I use them in most of my unsolved cases reading, and this one is the Prisma Vision tarot deck. This is one of my favorite decks because every card is connected to each other in each suit. So from Ace of Cups to King of Cups, they are all connected. The same with other suits, but the major Arcana card stands by itself. They are not connected to each other. Now another thing that I love about this deck is that they have this shiny edge, which you don't see it in other decks, and this actually inspires me to edge my other decks, and I will make another video about edging the card, showing you the result and also showing you how to do it. Now the other one is the Wild Unknown, and I wanted this so badly. I think this is like the third deck that I own, but unfortunately I didn't feel connected to this deck directly. But then when I started using tarot for unsolved cases, I feel like it's just easier to read about what happened to all of these missing people or unsolved murder cases. As well as the Prisma Vision, I feel like these two have the darkest energy among my other decks. Now this is one of my favorite decks too because I connect with this deck instantly. This is Witch's Tarot, and this is my go-to deck. I travel a lot pre-COVID and I was meeting up with my friends a lot of times too pre-COVID. So I always bring this deck to meet them because they would ask for reading every now and then. So this was the deck that I always carry with me because I can connect easily. It stays as my go-to deck. So since COVID started, I do most of my reading online. I started getting regular customers online, and this is the deck that I used to read for them. Also, for all of you who have asked for a free reading, this is the deck that gives you all of those answers. So it's just the deck that I bond naturally from the get-go. So these two are the latest decks to be added to this collection. This is the Vice Versa tarot deck. I love it because they have pictures on both sides, and it's just nice to be able to see different perspectives from each card. And this is the Light Seer tarot deck. I wasn't sure about this deck at first, but I'm glad that I got this because this deck connects well with me too. But because this is new, I rarely use this, but I love it regardless. Now these two decks are the least that I feel connected to, but that doesn't mean that they don't give a good reading. It's just that They probably have like different personality, I'm not sure, but I feel like sometimes the energy that I get from this card is a bit too much, a bit overwhelming, and I also don't use this deck as much as I wanted to, so probably I don't bond as much with this deck and didn't get the connection that I want. Now this one, oh, and this is Wheel of the Year Tarot. Now this is the Wildwood Cherub. I think a lot of you have met this deck because I use it a lot in my monthly reading, and I like this deck because of the image and of the different terms that they use for each of the suits, and also for the major arcana they also use animals to represent the court suits, like fox for the Knight of Bows and the Woodward for the Justice card, and so on. It's not that I don't get a good reading out of this, it's just that I have to work harder to get the message. It's like I feel like they want to tell me more, but I have to take my time to focus and listen more and more to get the message for my reading. Yeah, so let's move on to this mini deck. This is actually, as you can see, from the 17 magazine, and I got this when I was a teenager. I didn't even realize that I owned this deck until I moved back to my hometown and came back to my mom's house and started digging some old stuff. So I found this, and I just surprised that I actually owned a tarot deck because I was not a tarot reader back then. This is pocket size and I can bring it with me easily. So this is also one of my go-to deck if I have to rush. Now the last deck that I own here is not your typical deck. This is a full Chinese version of a tarot deck, and it's called Student Tarot 2. The writing is all in Chinese, so I really need to study this at first. If there's a number, you can actually understand it easily, but when it comes to king, queen, and knights, it's sometimes hard because, yeah, like this is a page of cups, so you need to know the difference between the page and the queen unless you understand Mandarin, but because I don't, so for example, this is the Queen of Cups. At a first glance it just looks kinda the same, and I didn't know which one is which. Well, I guess if you look closely, you can see that this woman is holding a bigger cup, so it should be the queen. You know, like the queen should have a bigger cup because she can handle her emotion better than the page. And another example would be this and this. So this is the Page of Swords and this is the Queen of Swords. And as you can see, the Page of Swords has more free-spirited energy and the Queen of Swords is more matured. I don't know if you can feel it, but that's what I feel. Yeah, so I like this deck because this is special, this is just different, and the size is also smaller than the usual deck, so it's easier for me to carry. It's not that heavy, but don't be surprised if you get this deck and it doesn't come with the black edge like this deck, because this is my doing and I love the result because it just fits perfectly with the color of this deck. So stay tuned for my other video. I will show you how to add your decks. So now let's move on to oracle decks and angel cards. Alright, so these two are my oracle cards. This is my angel cards, and this is a special deck because this only consists of major arcanas. Let's start with this deck. So I got this deck from my best friend. She gave me this, and she's a Taiwanese, so of course it comes in Mandarin, but luckily this deck has the English name as well, so I don't have to guess as what I did with my student tarot deck. This comes with the book, but it's all in Mandarin. I couldn't understand, so I just never read it. Yep, so moving on to the angel cards. This comes with a book as well, and each of the angel has a special message for us. So this could be the deck to ask for certain guidance or what to look for, or a message from our spirit guide. Now, the oracle cards. I always use this for the unsolved cases reading. This is Archangel oracle deck, and I feel like it is softer than the tarot deck, especially because I use tarot decks that have darker energy. I feel like adding this by the end of the reading adds a balance to the reading, and also because I connect with this deck in a different level, because I don't just read about the meaning of the card, but I sense it through the color, through the keyword here, or just the sentences here could probably send me different messages for each of the readings. So I find it very interesting. Now, the other oracle deck that I have is this. I don't remember the deck's name, but I will try to find it out and write it in my descriptions box. This has a lot of encouraging messages, and I love to use this for the monthly reading because I feel like the message fits perfectly with the reading. So yeah, I think that is all for today. I will link all of the decks name in the descriptions box below, so you can check it out if you're interested in owning these decks. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.